right, we are halfway through May 14th here, and got a lot of stuff going on. I don't know that I have a specific topic today. I know Linda's got some exciting info. I'm going to let her share with you guys. So, you want to start, or you want to wait till we get more people on, Linda?
Throw a few more people on for me, John, and then we
Okay.
can give them a website to go to.
All right, you got it. So, anyway, lots of stuff going on in AI. You guys are probably hearing more and more and more about agentic AI, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. The only thing I would encourage you to be careful with is the stuff that where you install it on your computer. I am not sold on that part yet. That whole open claw thing where it allows access to all of your stuff. I'm not a fan of that just yet. I don't know if I'll ever be able to be sold on it or not, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. Uh, for those of you, I know some of you here are into the crypto stuff. I was very excited this morning. I watched I guess it's a Senate hearing or whatever, but they passed all of the Clarity Act is moving forward. So it did make the cut this morning. So that's for me, that's very exciting.
I've been hearing your replay, and I was like, I can't believe I missed that thing. I gotta set the timers all the time.
Yeah, well, usually it's the second week, and this time I did it the first week because I was at XRP Las Vegas and had a bunch of exciting stuff to share, so we pushed it up
Right.
this month.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through the replay,
Yeah, yeah,
which is very good.
really cool stuff going on.
Yep.
But another thing I wanted to kind of update you guys on is most of you know that the ones of you that have been with me for a long time, you know, in the beginning, I did not feel good about WordPress.
Right.
Like I kept all of my clients out of WordPress for a good decade for good reason. And a lot of the reason was I was keeping them out of harm's way for one, because Google could have easily wiped out all the WordPress users, and they were a big source of their problems. So I was not going to put my clients in harm's way at that point. But the other thing, WordPress is it's a very oddball platform for one. I know it's the most used platform for web on the planet at this point, but it's really bizarre when you're used to doing things the way I did them in the past on web development, and you actually had pages sitting on a server that you could go in and edit. That's not like that in WordPress. I don't know if you guys realize that.
Uh, used to be
WordPress,
able to go and get to the code.
well, you can go into the code, but it's through the WordPress admin. I'm talking about
Yes.
physical, like HTML files sitting on a server. With WordPress, your web pages are developed out of dynamic variables. So the pages are literally produced on the fly based on a database. So it's very difficult for you to get in and actually edit what I call brute force. Brute force is getting a hold of the core and editing from the core. And I really liked doing that. But with WordPress, that's, you know, pretty much out of the question unless you're a programmer, which I'm not. I know enough to be dangerous in those situations. But recently I've been playing around with the idea of having uh, agentic AI build websites. And it's just like a holy shit wow for how cool this is. It puts me back in the days of now I actually have real pages sitting on a server that I'm really comfortable with. But the other thing, and the whole reason, I don't know if you guys heard this from me, like this was probably a month or two ago. I was building an ad campaign and it was generating all the pages, all the landing pages and the thank you pages and all that stuff. And I asked it if it could put these into Kartra format for me so I could have them in my Kartra account. And it came back and it asked me a question that really made me stop and think. The question was, why? Why would you do that? Like the pages are here, they're done. There's nothing wrong with them. Just upload them and you're done. Walk away.
Like up them to the internet.
Yeah, it's like, why would you want to do all that work? And then it really slapped me in the face. It says, knowing you, how lazy you are, because I always tout that. It said, why in the world would you want to do that? That's way too much work for your modus operandi. And I said, wow, you're right. Uh, and it just like it hit me like right smack dab in the forehead. Like, what the hell am I doing? Why don't I just, use the machine for what it's made for? And the only thing I could think of was it's super easy for me to edit in Kartra. And it's super easy for clients to edit in Kartra. That was the only thing I could come up with to defend my honor. And it came back and it said, I can do the edits for you. And I'm like, all right, I got nothing left. I I got no defensible standing on this. So I've kind of embraced that and I've been leaning on it for marketing campaigns. And I got to tell you, it builds absolutely beautiful pages. And the context and how I get it to develop the pages is I tell it, I give it some parameters when I'm having it do a web project. One of the parameters I give it is I want this to look as though it came from an ad agency. And furthermore, I want it to look like it was overseen by the top art director at that ad agency. Nothing gets by them. I want it beautiful. I want it to look like I spent $100,000 to get it done. And it's just like, wow, it knocks this stuff out. And the site, I showed you guys like the four different color schemes that it came up with last week. I was really I love the dark one. I love the dark one, but I know a lot of my clients are not going to like that and it's going to be hard to read and all that. So I went with the light one. I didn't
Ah,
go
you
with
picked.
I didn't go with the blue or the purple, although I loved them. But then after I was getting into it, I had it start developing the sub pages and I realized I'm going to have like campaigns that I want to set apart from my site, but I still would like to use the same look and feel. And I asked it, I said, what would it take? What kind of a CSS change would it take? Could you make me a different CSS template so I can use these for other campaigns? And it came back and it says, oh, we can use the same CSS. Let me build a multicolor CSS where you just toggle it on and off for whatever given page and it just instantly changes the color scheme. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome. So it is amazing, like stuff I didn't even know was available. Because, like I said, I've never been a programmer, I've never written CSS code. I know how important it is, but I always have leaned on programs to do that part of it for me. Like
John,
when
I'm sorry, what's CSS?
CSS is cascading style sheets. It's a reference file that sits in the home directory of your website and it controls the look and feel of your sites. And basically it's a whole shitload of code to make your site pretty. And if you were to take all of that code and drop it into each web page, it would be a tremendous amount of work for one, and it would get in the way of the search engines. It would gum up your code, and the search engines would have to chew through a bunch of irrelevant stuff to figure out what the page was about. So you reference it in a style, in a basically a file that has all the styling in it, and it sits by itself off to the side. And then with one line of code, your website pulls that all in just like it pulls an image in. So that's, I don't know if that is as clear as mud, but that's technically how it works. So with the style sheet, it's making this huge file, and then based on one little toggle in that one line of code, is what it's going to grab out of that sheet to stylize the page that you're making reference to. So it's really cool. The other thing about using AI, any of you that have ever done web development before and had any kind of SEO work done to it or done your own SEO work, you know what a pain in the ass that is. And WordPress doesn't really allow you direct access. I used to be able to do that with brute force. I could have all my SEO files and I could just drop them into those pages. And I would do it by brute force, and it was super simple for me to do. It was a copy and paste job. But at this point with WordPress, you don't have that access to those files. Those files don't exist for you to go in there and brute force them. So what you have to do in this case, and in the case of WordPress, is you need a plugin, like a Yoast plugin or some kind of an SEO plugin to do all of that special coding that the search engines, they don't require, but they like it and they reward you for it. So, and this is the great part about WordPress up against the worst part of it. The great part is it's open source and there's a million plugins to do any kind of functionality. You can get as creative as you want just by adding plugins. You don't have to know how to do anything. You just search the plugin database and say, oh, that's cool. I want to add that. Click and boom, now it's part of your site. That's the good part. Bad part is every time you do that, you slow the site down. Because remember, this is a data driven site. So everything you add to it, it just gets heavier and heavier and heavier. The other thing on the bad side is everything you add to it gives another way in for a hacker. So there's a tremendous amount of downside, bad side to the whole WordPress scenario. I'm still not against it at this point because it's so prevalent and all that. But if you are a developer, Tim, or anybody else, or if you're looking at doing a new website or something like that, and I'm going to say this at the risk of putting my whole web development division out of business right here, you don't need web developers anymore. You really don't. You just need clear communication with your AI, with your AI, whatever you're using, uh, it'll do all that for you. And like I said, with the SEO portion, I was really blown away with this. When it did the first section of the site for me, I looked at it and it wasn't SEO'd. It was just basic files. And it looked great, but I went back to it and I said, look, I'm, pretty good at SEO. I'm probably known as one of the best at it. If I put this site out, people are going to really question me about, what am I doing? So I asked it, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do proper SEO to the level that I'm at, or do I need to teach you? And it said, well, let me take a stab at it. It SEO'd the page, sent it back to me to see what I thought. And I looked at it. I'm like, holy shit. It did everything I would have done. And then it did things beyond what I would have done that I know I should do that I'm just not going to because I'm too lazy. So at that point, I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make a visual memory of this process. And anytime I ask you for a web page or you're doing a web page for me, I want you to access that visual memory and I want you to run this on it. So you never deliver me another web page ever again that doesn't have this operation run on it for SEO. So now it understands what I want moving forward. Again, clarity is everything. I know a lot of people have trouble selling because of clarity. And clarity, this is something that goes through every aspect of your life is getting your message clear to get what you want. And AI is no different. In fact, it's probably 100 times worse. because it's got 100 times horsepower over anything you've ever had access to. And if you don't give it clarity, it's going to run 100 times, 100x in the wrong direction. So you don't want that. You want to make sure you have a bridle on this horse. Make sure it's working for you, not against you. And another thing too that I've noticed, and not just in web development, but just in general, especially for a marketing campaign. When I created the smash and grab marketing campaign for Optimizer or Optimancer rather, uh, oh my God, it did a phenomenal amount of work, but it was too much for me to consciously keep track of. It was like it was throwing pieces at me faster than I could even process them and deal with it. And it created just a nightmare of pieces that I now had to get straight and organized. So getting clear on the organization part of it, getting it clear that I don't want just a bunch of pieces thrown at me. I want you to categorize them in folders like I would normally do to keep things straight. And I want you to, zip these things up so I'm not having to download 40 pieces. I want to download one, I want to unzip it and have it all in the file structure that I am used to, I can understand. That was a clarity issue. And productivity wise, that made a huge difference because although it was doing all this work and saving me all this time, I was spending half a day just like organizing the files and going, what the fuck is all this shit? You know, whereas now with just a little bit of clarity, it gives it all to me in a way I can deal with, I can understand, and it saves me the rest of that half a day for organizing it. So clarity is a key component when you're dealing with AI or even any employee. If you guys still have outsourcers or you're using any kind of employees, that is going to be a key component is clarity of what do you want them to do? How do you want them to do it? And if you don't, they're just going to run wild. So procedures and operating procedures, that's your clarity. So no different with AI. All right. So any questions? Any questions about like, all this cool stuff I'm developing in my head here? Allie,
I
go
had a
ahead.
question about Kartra earlier this week. You remember my text read to you?
I remember a text. I don't remember specifically what it was.
I set up a quiz in the in a survey, and I have three different outcomes based on their score.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And
Now I remember.
I can't get the automations to line up. All the automations go to the lowest score,
Okay.
and I can't figure out why. And I don't know if it's something you and I have to sit in looking in Kartra or what. But
You,
I'm not
you can't ask AI?
familiar. I'm
I
not,
asked AI, and actually, well, I
Oh,
did what AI said to do, and that's why it keeps doing it.
yeah,
I,
got it.
I'm not familiar enough. I've done a few of these, but
Hmm.
not recently, so I'm not familiar enough with it just to rattle off exactly what to do.
Well,
But I'd be happy to hop in there and look at it with you at some point, and I'm sure.
I will do it with you in private because it's something that's just like most of these people are not going to do it, but those personality tests is what I'm doing with the new programs I'm coming out with, and I need to learn how to do this automation right. So,
Yeah, I know you can do it because I've done it myself, and I'm pretty sure I think I did one of those with Linda too. So
uh,
I know you can do it. I just not got it locked in where I can rattle it off the top of my head at this point.
okay.
But I think I did kind of struggle with that at first because I don't think it was real intuitive.
Yeah, it's funny how many automations I have inside my Kartra, and I do Jimmy's and Bonnie Katahita's Kartra, and I have all kinds of automations built in all three of them, and I'm just shocked that I can't get it out. I'll figure this new one's my new headache. So,
Yeah. Well, speaking of automations and Kartra, the couple of things I want to throw out there about Kartra specifically. They just released a new for any of you that are running Kartra and you like Pam has had a problem with this not getting emails from Kartra. Kartra blacklists a lot of different emails, and it's done on a false positive. So they shouldn't really be blacklisted. But now, from the admin, like in your Kartra account, you can go into your customers that are blacklisted and you can do a one-click request to get them whitelisted without having to go through a support ticket now. And that's just new as of this week. So that's a really, really good feature that they've added on. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys is with the campaign that I created the Optimancer campaign, the smash and grab, and it's all video. Like almost every page I have has video. It's using Becky to guide people through. And in the webinar, in the evergreen webinar, when somebody opts in for that webinar, it's really important to me to know that they've gone through the webinar, because if they don't, they're not going to get to the sales option. So me making a sale is dependent on them watching that webinar and getting up to that certain point in the webinar. So I set triggers. I used Kartra to serve the video. So it is hosting the video for the webinar. And I set triggers in there. Like if they watch up to a certain amount of the video and they don't get past this point, I put a tag on them. That tag fires a sequence knowing they haven't gotten to the sales part yet. I also set it to where it has memory, so when they come back to pick up watching the video, it picks up right where they left off. So this allows me to send them an email of, hey, you must have got sidetracked or derailed. The phone probably rang, something. I get it. Here's a link to pick up the video right where you left off so you don't have to start it over again. And here's what you missed. This was next up, and you don't want to miss this. So it's a way to re-engage them that is absolutely brilliant. And then you also know if they got to the sale and they didn't buy, you can also follow up based on that. It's user action, it's intent, user intent action triggers, which is super powerful. I've never done this. I've known about this since the beginning, but it's one of those things where it's a really difficult thing to do unless you've got automation machinery at your fingertips. All that stuff is available inside Kartra. I don't know about Go High Level. I'm sure it's probably in there as well. But these are the kind of things that if you're making sales and you want to make more sales, you might be able to just do some of these little simple tweaks and not spend any more money, not generate any more leads, but make more sales and make more money just off of what you're doing. And I've always referred to that as sharpening the sword. You have to have a sword. If you don't, it basically means that you're not making money. And that's what the sword is for, is to make more money. But you've got to get up to that point. And I know some of you are not there yet. You're not making money, and you got to ask yourself why. Are you It all comes down to feet on the street. We can think about stuff all day long. We can talk about stuff all day long. We can brainstorm great ideas all day long, but unless you take an action, like for instance, if you have a product and you don't have an order button, what are you doing? You have no way to sell it. You haven't taken the action. You've done all that other stuff, but you have no way to actually make a sale. And you're sitting there asking yourself, well, wow, I've done all this work, but I haven't made any sales yet. Well, you haven't given anybody the ability to buy. It's obvious. It's generally obvious if you're not making sales what the problem is.
Yeah, and it's worse than that. You've stolen the opportunity from someone. Stop that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Build the product first, build the tool on how to get to it second.
well, I'm totally opposite. I'm about sell it first. I don't give a shit
Well,
about
yeah.
building.
What I mean is, when you're creating I mean, you're creating all the pages and all the funnels and everything to go with it. the first thing you create in that funnel is the product that you can sell so that they
Yeah.
can actually click the button and buy it. Then you create the emails to get there. And yeah,
Yes. I'm going to tell you guys most of you are familiar with Craig Doswell. I have done this 3 times in the last 18 months. 3 times. I've been sitting in one of his groups, whether it be a mastermind group or whatever, but sitting in his room, listening to his people have a problem. 3 times while I was right there, I've opened my Kartra account, created a buy button, and then asked him if I could come up on stage and tell people about it. And he's an affiliate of mine, so he makes money every time I sell something, so he naturally allows me to do that. And 3 times I have come up with something out of thin air that I could do. I haven't done it yet, but I could easily do it. But I'm not going to do anything unless somebody's going to buy it. So I'll go up in front of the group. I'll say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I can do. Here's the order button. If anybody wants to buy it, I'll do this. I'm not kidding. I've done it 3 times in 18
Do
months.
everything, isn't it?
It is pretty much the way I do everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if I can't sell it now, I'm not going to be able to sell it later. And if I'm not going to be able to sell it later, why do I put a bunch of time and effort into building it?
Yep.
Right? It's almost like a test case. I'm going to test something, and this is exactly the way ad agencies work. They do test groups. They will create groups of people that are the ideal target market, and they'll bring them into a room and they'll sit them down and they'll ask them a bunch of questions, they'll survey them, they'll get their opinions, but they're not just getting opinions of anyone. They're very focused. In fact, they call them focus groups, and they pay you to come in. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you are just sitting there and you need to make a few bucks, go sign up for some focus groups and they'll call you in if you're the right audience. And some of them pay very well. Some of them pay like 100, 200, up to $500 for an hour session. And literally, I got on a focus group for McDonald's, and this was back when I was eating filet of fish sandwiches. I won't go into why I don't do that anymore, but they called me in for a McDonald's focus group. They served me like 6 different filet of fish sandwiches to get my opinion on which one I liked best. They just changed things slightly, like the cheese or the sauce or the amount of sauce and all that. And they were trying to figure out what the audience wanted so they could improve the product. They already had the product. They just wanted to sell more of it. But that is the way an ad agency works. They run focus groups, they figure out the market first, and then they create the right messaging. So the fact in their ads, they changed up the way they were selling the fillet of fish. They showed it, they found out people wanted more sauce. So they changed up the picture and showed the sauce just gooing out of this thing. And it was right on target for what the market wanted. It's the way they do things. I'm telling you right now. They figure it out up front and then they offer it and they sell the shit out of stuff with that process.
There must be certain malls in the United States that have these, because I remember walking through one in particular several times and getting like, hey, you want to come try this? And one of them was the
Mhm.
drumstick
Yeah.
uh, ice cream bar, ice cream thing, cone.
Yeah.
And they were huge. They were huge. And they were wonderful. And now you get this little tiny thing.
Yeah. Well, the whole adage of the big get bigger, the rich get richer, all of that. It's those big national companies that have the budget to go and have this stuff done for them. And they go to an ad agency and that's what they do.
Yeah, it was
So,
fascinating to meet a person who tried a product before it even came out.
yeah, yeah. And the ACT program is all of what I learned from ad agencies boiled down into a code that you can use. you can get all that power without paying hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So what you're saying, John, is I can tell you I'm running a test right now, guys. If you click the link I put in the thing here, all right, and by today I will create it for you. Yeah.
Exactly.
What you got, Tim? I don't see a
It's
link.
well,
Well, Tim's writing rewrite your homepage for you. I'll do it in 24 hours. Two edits. Yeah.
so we're going to see an example of that in a minute. I'll hit Allie, and then we'll let Linda show us what
Yeah.
she's got for us.
I want to see
Allie,
what
go
Linda's
ahead. Go
got.
ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate the depth of the wisdom here. I wanted to know, John, what AI programs are you using to develop your agentic AI agents?
It's my own. I've got a team in Florida that's
Oh,
building
it's
it for
your,
me.
okay, it's your whole back of the house. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
and
Uh,
I apologize. I have been trying and trying to get this thing up to the point where I can offer it to you guys.
I know it's so
And
juicy.
I thought I was going to have it last week. I thought I was going to have it this week, and I think I'm going to have it next week. So you know how it goes with developers and programmers, but
Well, we're hanging on with bated breath.
it's very close. It's extremely close, and I'm going to make it really, really inexpensive.
Cliffhanger. Come back next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and
Yeah, I
and
was
I
thinking if when you roll this out, if there's a way to combine all your products into packages that make sense, like for example, for your clients, like for me, just helping Woody, like this package is for these people. So, because
yeah, well
a
that
lot of times,
it's
yeah.
already done that with the website. It's
Oh, great.
redesigned my entire site.
Oh
And,
gosh.
and a cool thing about it was I never really focused on the copy. I know I hammer you guys, I club you guys over the head on how important that shit is, and then I don't do it. I just kind of throw stuff up just to get it up and leave it behind me. I'm kind of like the guy at the circus that's leading the elephant around, and I don't have anybody to clean the shit up behind him. So it's
You
it's a,
do now.
it's a nasty visual, but that's kind of what it's like.
You're hilarious.
John, I'm sorry to interrupt. In the chat, TK is saying, would you let me in the meeting from my laptop? I'm on the phone.
Oh, gotcha. Yep, I just let her in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
so the other thing, when it's developing your website, this is something I've really struggled with as a web developer. My whole web development division just dies on this thing. And it's the fact that when we take on a web development project, we're doing the web design and we're doing the web construction, but we're not developing the content. And we're waiting for the client to give us the content. And that is the most painful thing. A project that should take 2 or 3 days winds up taking 2 or 3 months because of that.
Yeah, I resemble that remark.
You do, but you're not alone. It's normal. It's like that is the biggest problem with getting the projects finished and tied up. But
Oh
now
yeah.
with the I told it, I said, I want you to take all of my pages into consideration. I don't want you to think that they need to be redone. I want you to take them into consideration. I want you to realign the site with the pages it should have and the text that it should have on them to convert. I said, take everything I've got, arrange it in a methodical order, which is what Allie just said. I wish you would package stuff and make it make sense. So I asked it to do that and write the copy in the way that an ad agency would write it to convert and lead a prospect through that path properly. And it's just like, oh my God, this is like my wish, my dream come true. And now to be able to offer that to clients, I mean, I don't know, Tim, if you've realized this yet, but how many more websites you could sell if you offered the content with it and was able to deliver on it. I mean, you could charge a lot more because you're doing all the marketing for them. You're giving them a package. You could say, "Hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to figure out your market. I'm going to figure out what they want, why they want it. I'm going to write the copy for you to sell it to them, and I'm going to package it up into a beautiful website for you." Holy shit, would that sell? That's a hell of a lot better sales pitch than I've ever done on a website. I'm typically, yeah, I can build you a website. You just tell me what you want it to say and we'll make it look pretty for you. That's a pitch. It's not a very good one, but it's all I had. And and it's worked. So think of how much better that would work. So anyway, oh, Allie, one more thing I want to tell you too about Woody specifically. It
Oh,
doesn't
yay.
apply to the group, but it's quick and I'll get it out of the way. I finally realized why his site was offline. A long time ago, he had a bunch of people in there working on it and they got it all corrupted and it had been hacked badly. And I told him I can't leave this up. It's too vulnerable to the server. And he said, "Oh, no problem. We're going to push it somewhere else anyway." So when I pointed it back to the site, that's why it wasn't working. So what I
Is it
did,
still the same corrupted site?
no, I fixed it.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's woodyblagman.com and
Yeah, so
it's
woodyblagman.com is now available and working, and I've
it's
cleaned
online,
it.
John?
Yes, it's online. It's
God,
all
you are
ready to
the
go for
best.
you.
Thank you so much. You are
So
such a gift.
Hallelujah. Thank you, John.
so
Oh,
it's back up, it's working. I don't know if it's got the content on it that he wants, but it's at least functioning.
thank you so much, John. He's going to be very happy to hear that. Appreciate you. All
Yeah,
right, Allie,
no,
out. I
no
just,
problem.
my questions are more based on listening to you. I'm like, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? So I can't wait for you to get your team to get it to launch worthy. We could be your test dummies. I will beta it the heck out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell how much fun I'm actually having with this stuff, but it is really, really cool.
Yeah, you've gone to from joy to bliss.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually not this excited about working, but I've literally been excited about coming into my office every day to work. It's like not me. I don't know who this is.
Well, that's when it's not really work. It's just your life. It's what you do, and it's work and living. It doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Yeah,
I don't like this life work balance stuff. It's like do what you love, and
yeah.
everything
It's
else
like
will figure it out. Figure itself out.
it's like usually if my feet aren't on that boat for a couple of days a week, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies, and I'm not feeling that right now. It's just like I want to dive into this stuff and really immerse myself in it. So. All right, well, cool. So I want to open the floor up to Linda. I think she's going to put a link in the chat for you guys. And any of you that have done books and stuff, I know I did a book, but I'm not really focused on getting the number one status. I don't really care, but this is an important thing to her. So she needs your help here today to help her hit that status. And if you guys would do that, I would appreciate it. So.
I
Go
got
ahead,
it.
Linda.
Thank you, Jamie, and I think everybody that's already ordered it. So I'm going to drop a link in. So this is a book that I have been working on since the house burned down on January 7th. And I kept coming back to the book and kept avoiding it, putting it behind me because it was really a tough topic to cover. And what I discovered was, yeah, it was talking about a lot of things. And it's a 5-part book where I talk about my story, but where I really got stuck was I felt like I don't really want to talk about this anymore. It's not about me. So I put out a survey, and I had one of the agentics build a survey for me, and it came back with secretly asking, do you want to sell? And most of you probably know that I am a real estate broker, and I have figured out that I can't rebuild my home unless I have 13 listings, because the insurance company gave me $800,000 to build a $1.5 million rebuild. So unless I have all of these listings, and so I said, no, you got to hide the broccoli and the chocolate. You cannot make it look so. You do have to work with the prompts so that they will really come back and help, and you spend the time instead of just giving it an instruction. So it came back with an amazing survey. And on totally cold traffic, I got a 4% conversion of people that wanted to tell their story. And I was really surprised. 5,837 homes actually burned, but 6,847 structures burned. So that includes, the bank where my codes were for my cold wallet, when my safe broke down and burned everything in it. And so I tell a lot of stories about the things that actually did happen in this book. And so what I started out to do was maybe 120 pages, turned it into 250 pages. And then I realized I didn't want anybody tearing my book apart, because there were a lot of checklists. There were things in there that would help you understand how to take a move and move forward if disaster hits your life. And so I ended up creating a second book, which will be announced and available probably in a few days. So I wanted to get this book up and running. I've made it affordable so that I could really push the numbers through. I got to number 2 yesterday in one category. I'm in 3 categories, and I'm trying to hit number 1. I was busy typing away on a press release that I wanted to get out by noon. So hopefully that just went out. And I'm asking every community I can. Where I put that survey, by the way, was in an app called Nextdoor. And I also had curated a pretty good sizable list of my own community. And I was really surprised that people wanted to talk. They really wanted to say what had happened. And I think more than anything, it is a true testimony to the cover-up that our government did, the cover-up that there are reports and after reports that say exactly what they did, and they do not corroborate with what people told me. From my getting a one-word ping early on the first of January, when I actually that was the first fire that went out. I got a one-word notice telling me to evacuate, but on the 7th, I didn't get that notice to evacuate until something like 10:45, and the fire had started and was out of control at 10 o'clock. So, there are a lot of factual things in here, and I would really greatly appreciate it if you took a moment and followed that link and pulled down a 99-cent version of that. And if you want to buy the book is there. I don't know if it's live yet or not, but it went up, and I was waiting for the approval on it. But I wanted to make sure that everybody had the ability to get it, and price wasn't an obstacle.
We need
I
the
also
link. Oh, Linda, I don't see a link in the chat.
I put it in. I thought I hit. Oh, let's hit return.
There we go. Thank you.
So,
Darn it, Linda, I bought it yesterday. Does that mean, because I know I've tried to buy a book again and Amazon blocks the second purchase. Does that mean I can't help you get to number one?
You can buy it as a gift, but you need an email address for the giftee.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Pam.
That's how you get more than one going for. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
For those of you that have multiple email addresses, you can do that.
Idea. I also, John, can we show them what I'm testing your product? So
Sure.
Can we show them what it actually produced?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's see if I can click on. If I click on, can you click on or share your screen, or do I want to share my screen? Let's see if I can share my screen.
Either way.
Yeah, go ahead and hit risingfromtheashes.info. I had saved 2 URLs, and I was trying to get this up behind my website, Test Drive Freedom. and I didn't quite do it correctly. But I had when I reserved the URLs for Rising from the Ashes, I had online and info available, and online doesn't work at all because I tried to redirect it and it wouldn't go. So I just changed it to the info, and either one of those is going to be fine. But I really want to thank everybody that has purchase this, and anybody that you know that has gone through a disaster, that has had the experience that they have lost everything. I have to tell you, it is like being erased. And your home is erased, everything that you loved in it is gone, everything that it meant for you is gone. And it's so jarring and so unnerving that it's difficult to explain. And I think as we're looking at here, there are five different, if you could stay right there for a second, John, I wrote it in five parts. So it is about the survivors. And the book literally started writing itself after I did the survey because people wanted to talk. So it is all about the survivors' stories. I talk about the support networks. It is very tactical. It talks to the first responders and what's inside the smoke and what happened, what didn't happen. It also exposes what they didn't do. I also have a section of what they didn't tell you. So, certain parts of the city or of the Palisades didn't burn, but they had their own private fire teams that went in. So we didn't. Or, pools were used to put out fires to the adjacent homes, and the fire department let the home that they took the water from burn to the ground. There's a community reckoning, and when I call it the community reckoning, it is a section that talks about how to support the survivors. At 15 months later, after this fire, most people don't know that I don't have any electricity on my property. And there's no electric, my street has not been energized. So I will tell you that when people say, well, you're kidding, right? No, I'm not kidding. And I think that that was the thing that surprised me the most, is that so many people said, people expect me to be over this, and how am I supposed to be over this? I'm still trying to fill out, I'm still trying to get part B of my insurance policy. So I talk about the insurance, I talk about the failures, I talk about how systemic that is, the failures are throughout our community, that we are not prepared for a disaster, not for the last one, not for the next one. So this is really a detailed book. It's very narrative style. The complimentary companion book, which will be out in a few days, called Wildfire Recovery Field Guide, is something that you can actually pull apart, or you can fill in the blanks. Some of those things are in the book, but most of it is in the field guide. So if you're looking for a gift to somebody, that putting those two books together would be a really good gift to send to somebody, even if they've gone through it. Because what I discovered, I did a presentation yesterday, and I had so many people calling me and talking to me and saying, we need this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Or my son lost his home and my daughter lost her home, and I don't even know how to support them. And honest to God, most people don't know how to support us. We're past the crying, but there are times, just like a death. Something can spark. You go to look for that pair of shoes. I look for the handbag. I look for a piece of jewelry, and it's gone. And we remember certain things, but the experience is fairly overwhelming. Somebody just put it, Pam, stole people's water. I had to put locks after I restored water to my property, which was the first thing I wanted to do. Um, a a burro came around, and not the one on four legs, but the one that's pulled by a truck, and they filled up their 500 gallons from my water faucet. So yeah,
What is
I'm
that? I don't know what that is.
it is basically it's a bladder on wheel that goes around to different fights and puts they're supposed to put water when they're clearing debris off of a property. They're supposed to wet it down so that you don't have the toxins fly airborne.
Got it.
So yeah,
But you paid for that water.
I paid for their taking of my water. Yes, I did.
Boy.
I couldn't have that reversed. So yeah, I had to put locks on them. John, scrolled through the rest of this, and what I did with this yesterday. This was created yesterday, and uh, it just did an amazing job on taking what I had there and turned it into something that it would have taken me probably days, if not weeks, to have somebody else do it because you would be waiting until next year for me to come up with something like this. But it really did an amazing job. And the first thing it did was it did turn out that dark, funky looking thing, John. It was so dark. I sent back an instruction that said that only that they would have to be an intuitive to be able to understand what anything said on the page because you couldn't read it. It was dark, and then all of the print was dark. Nothing stood out, and then it lightened. And because you gave it an instruction to use the colors from my website, from my branding, you can see that all of the branding colors are all tied into my website on Test Drive Freedom. So this did an outstanding job. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. Now, it did have a little bit of difficulty on the front of the landing page, and I still didn't figure that out. So I had my VA take for some reason behind this book, it kept putting a big white, a blank white thing that was supposed to portend a shadow behind the book. And I have a 3D rendering on this, but for whatever reason, it was turning it into something extremely weird. So I had Neil edit this, and he was able to edit the HTML. But typically, because I was eating up my points, and it was each time it did this, I had 5 different versions. It was eating up my coins. So I didn't want to keep doing that. So I just said, all right, we'll go with the best version and we'll fix it. So, but for the rest of this, I have to tell you, what an incredible job, what an incredible journey. And I even got a funny little logo that looks like a bird or something up there rising from the ashes. It's not something I would have thought of. So it just did an outstanding job. So there's my 2 cents, and thank you all for this. I really appreciate your support.
That actually looks like a version of the Christian fish.
Well, no, the fish would be sideways, and the
Yeah.
theory behind that was a Christian would approach the other on the road, draw the half moon, and the other would draw the other half moon so that they would not be persecuted. So that's how they identified. So it's always sideways because they drew it with their toe or the tip of their sandal or something. But I'm I couldn't tell if it was a penguin but it's sitting on a perch, so it must have thought rising must have something to do with birds. But I have uh, I have been doing everything I can to get everybody's attention. I reached out to one of the influencers that's supporting Spencer Pratt running for mayor. I reached out to Spencer Pratt yesterday. I haven't heard back from him. I'm hoping that the press release gets somebody's attention besides Mayor Bass's, who will probably put out a hit job on me. But I I don't look behind me very often. So this just did an outstanding job. I'm really thrilled with it. It came up with the common sense approach to this uh, website and what content I wanted it to really emphasize. And I had put up 2 pictures, one, that was far more casual, and then the other one that is professional, and told it to make its mind up about which one I should use. And it decided that was the one I should use. It came up with the buttons. It came up with everything that would have taken me. I mean, I probably could have gotten this done in 2 or 3 days on Kartra, but I had the same experience. John has said, you don't like to do this on Kartra. You could, and you could spend 2 or 3 days, but why when I could do this for you in 30 minutes? So the agentics have really gotten the personality uh, of the account and have really figured out how to dial this in. So I couldn't be more pleased. You've got a great product, John.
Yeah. You want me to show you how easy it was to put that on your site?
I
That
would.
looks amazing.
Let me let me get into your site here and I'll show you guys.
So this is going into my WordPress site. That's testdrivefreedom.com. So we're hiding different things behind different pages on that site.
Okay, so let me share again. There we go. Okay.
Gregory's telling me that he was able to order the paperback, so that's up and operational. That's great. That's awesome.
So just like I had mentioned before, you can have these different plugins. So I put a plugin here that's called File Manager. And what this does, this shows you all the server files. Like this HTML folder here, this is your main web directory where all of your files sit. So
Very cool.
they're all sitting inside of here. What I did was I created this folder called Ashes.
Mhm.
So on the website, your website's testdrivefreedom.com/ashes. So when you go into the ashes folder, see that index file? That's your HTML. For me to put that in there, all I had to do is click the upload button, select files, and I had saved your HTML file here on my desktop. I literally just double clicked it. It sent it up. It's going to ask if I want to overwrite it. I'll just say yes. The old one, this index 2, that was the original file you sent me. I didn't want to overwrite it in case you wanted it. So I just basically
Just
double
rename it.
clicked here and did rename. I called it index 2.
Mhm.
So here's your regular site. If I wanted to see the old site, I would just go up here and I would put index2.html, and there's your first version.
Awesome.
So if you ever want to compare them or see, but this is the dark version she said that she didn't like. And then it updated it and turned it to that.
The other one has more. This is fire related. These
John,
pictures do it, for one thing.
Because the topic is so dark, I didn't want the content to appear to be so dark as well, and it was really hard for me to read. And
Yeah,
I just thought anybody that's looking at this, whether it's on their screen or whatever, it should be easy to read.
yeah.
Awesome job. Great teamwork.
So I
Yeah, the
just
other
Okay,
one's
thank
the other one's
you.
easier to read.
Yeah.
Definitely.
so I just wanted to show you how easy it is to manipulate the files. If you want to have Agentic create pages for you, you can literally just use WordPress to load them up into a folder and they're accessible. And then like she bought the domain name, that Rise from the Ashes domain name. I told her just forward it to that folder. So when you go to that domain now, that page just loads. So you
So I
don't need
didn't
another hosting
realize that it
account.
needed the backslash ashes, so I sent the info over as a redirect just to testdrivefreedom.com, and it did, but I when I went back to try to put it slash ashes because I didn't want it landing on the landing page for the website,
Yeah.
it just kept going to the same website. I just could not change it. So I said, well, thank God I bought the other one. Let's just go with that one rather than fight on tech that I
The
can't figure out.
the
So
only reason it was doing that, it's the DNS settings sometimes take like 24 hours to update.
yeah, I figured that might be it. I wasn't
So
really sure.
once it connects to one, it doesn't want to let go. It's got a bite on it.
It didn't.
So if you're trying to do it really fast, you have to make sure you get it to the right one right out of the gate. Otherwise, you have that lag time. But
So thank
that's
you
a
all.
that's a
Appreciate it.
glimpse into the world of brute force, moving files and based on what you want, not what something's trying to hold you back from.
John, I got a
Awesome.
question for you on how you put that in there, where you put it in that HTML file, and then now when you type up her testdrivefreedom.com/ashes, by just putting it in that folder called ashes, it will go to there, or again, I'm
Yes,
not a program. Yeah.
so here's something. This is how servers are written with code to have defaults.
Hmm.
So any folder that has nothing in it, I
Hmm.
have my server to protect the files in the folder. If you don't have an index file in a folder,
Hmm.
some servers will allow that whole folder to be browsable. That's what I found in Google when I went to Google to see if I could break one of their systems for them. They didn't have that. They didn't have their servers set up correctly, and it allowed me to dig into their stuff where I was not supposed to be really fast. I mean, I chewed through their shit in lightning speed before they could even get in the room to get me out. So, on all of my servers to protect them, I have a rule in the server that says if there's no index file, that link will come up forbidden. So you can't browse it.
Okay.
So normally in any folder, if you have an index, it could be index.php, like WordPress is PHP. This
Yeah.
is just an empty folder I created, so I just threw index.html in there, and it defaults to index file, whatever the file is.
Okay.
So that's how you do that. But you can also put it in direct. Like notice it's not here. If I put index.html, it will load it direct. It
Okay.
doesn't care. It defaults to index if there's nothing there.
Well, I'm trying to think about, how I doing some of this for back pages for clients is why I'm asking.
Yeah. It's a lot cleaner.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot cleaner just to have ashes.
Yeah.
So in the development of my new site, I'm basically doing it this way. And I think it's a lot cleaner.
Okay.
And with SEO, the cool thing about SEO doing brute force is you can silo. There's a thing called siloing, which silo means you're adding a folder that's got a keyword in it, and then you're putting all the relevant pages for that keyword inside that folder. So when SEO sees it, it sees domain.com/keyword / even more relevant keyword. And it really values that because that's giving it clarity. So WordPress has been very difficult to get that factor of SEO built into it. It doesn't work that way. So as much good as there was about WordPress, it wouldn't give me the freedom that I really enjoyed prior to WordPress, and now I'm going to get to enjoy that freedom again.
Oh, but then again, I think I got a ton of freedom with WordPress, but that's me, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I learned it. WordPress is where I learned to start.
Yeah, yeah. See, I learned prior to, so I saw all the constraints that it created.
So yeah, I guess this is part of my learning process, and it's a lesson for us all in learning processes. Because I learned WordPress, this looks harder to me.
Yeah.
Even the fact that AI is creating it looks harder to me, and it's not,
It
but it
it
looks that way. It's because of
it
how my brain was trained to learn.
sure, sure. When you switch that off and you basically you're allowing yourself to say, let's forget about what I know and let's go from here.
Yeah.
What you'll realize is all I just showed you is what you're used to doing already on your computer is putting files in folders.
Mhm.
That's it. It's simple.
Again, a lesson learned, guys, is you're never too late to learn something because
Yeah.
some of us are doing things the hard way, but it's the easy way for us.
Yeah. I
And we
mean,
have no clue it's the hard way because we've never been taught it's the hard way, and it's just so easy to us.
and
Yeah.
most of the stuff I wouldn't even think to try and teach you because it's so far in my past I don't even recollect it. It's like I tell you guys, I've forgotten more than I know on the top of my head, and it's all there if you just ask. If there's something you want to know, just ask. I can give you great detail about anything you want to know about this game. It's just I would never think of it to bring it out.
Well, I mean that again, it's this is lessons in life. All right. I was on a call last night that the girl's going. I just don't get the conversations you're engaging with on social media right now. And I'm like, it's because number one, she has brain damage, and she just doesn't comprehend it. And I said, after you've been studying it for 28 years, like I have, you know what I mean? It's a different story. Well, the
Yeah.
same applies here. I've been studying website development for 17 years. You've been doing it for how long? You know what I mean?
40.
Of course you're going to be way ahead of me. Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, if there's ever anything you guys want to know about, just let me know. And a lot of it percolates forward in ways that, most people don't tie together. Like, for instance, in the whole crypto thing, crypto is nothing different than web development. All these developers developing crypto, it's the same thing. They're developing digital assets. That's all the web is. It delivers digital assets. They've just figured out how to tokenize money and things of value, just like we tokenize email and websites. And the thing is, it's very difficult for people to understand with these complicated addresses and these keys and all this stuff that people freak out about. But underlying, there's a system there that is about to make this super simple for those that can see it. And it's like DNS routing. DNS is domain name service. It's how your browser finds a website. It's all routed. It's like it says, okay, this domain lives over here on this server inside this folder. So when you type in that domain.com, it routes there. The crypto is going to be the same thing. Instead of using all those funky addresses that nobody knows how to deal with, you're going to have a domain called .crypto. Like I have johnlimbacher.crypto. And that's a crypto domain. It's not made to serve a website, it's made to serve crypto. And what I can do, I can go into the DNS settings for that domain, just like I can set where my website lives and where my email lives. I can set where my wallets live. That way, if you want to send me XRP, you just send it to johnlimbacher.crypto and it routes bang right into my wallet. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. That's the world that's coming. It's right around the corner.
Wow.
And if you don't have those addresses, I would recommend that you get them right away. And they're sold at Unstoppable Domains. It's the only one I know of that's selling those addresses. They're Web3 domain names. So it's going to be like the gold rush when people figure that out. And if you want your name, I would get it before somebody else does.
John, do you remember years ago when, like, gosh, it was when we were all first talking about crypto and you had just started the club and you bought something, your name dot something. What do you what do you
Yeah,
remember what that was? And is that
I
the same thing or is it like
yeah,
web?
yeah, I bought ID.crypto.
Oh,
ID for Internet Dominators, but ID is going to be a massive, massive industry. So I'm already getting people that are giving me offers to buy it.
wow.
They haven't hit the number I'm looking for yet. But ID.crypto will probably be a domain that I could probably sell for seven figures at some point. So I'm just happy to
Or
sit.
10.
Yeah, I'm just happy to sit on it for now, but some big company is going to want ID.crypto, and I own it. So you talk about learning from the past. I learned that from the past. Will buy and spend a lot of money on premium domains.
You're
But you're
still
not putting any.
pioneering.
And to have the opportunity, like to give you guys an idea how far I was ahead on that one, I think I bought ID.crypto 4 years ago.
But you're not putting anything on it. I don't see, like, I just went to it.
No,
It.
it's not really made for websites. It's made to route crypto. It's a
Oh,
Web3 crypto address.
so you can't route it still to I to
Well,
internet dominators.
you could. You could. I just
I
wouldn't.
would still, Mac, because if you've got people that are wanting
I
to buy it and so forth, why not capitalize on it and at least have it route
oh
to
oh
internet
believe me,
dominators?
anybody that is going to want to buy that I'm going to want to sell it to, they're not going to have a problem finding me. If I routed it there for that purpose, yeah, it would get a lot of attention, but I'd get a lot of tire kickers.
Oh.
But the point I think, Arbor, I think you're trying to make is everything's for sale. It's just what's the price you're willing to accept for it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm saying everything's a marketing opportunity, and
Yeah,
and
no, no,
and the
she's right.
people that would purchase ID.crypto is not the same people that would be interested in internet dominators, but I'm just saying why
Yeah.
is you're not doing nothing with it. So just
It's not time yet, Arba.
Yeah.
every
The value has not reached the amount of pain I am willing to let go of it yet.
Yeah.
I
You
And
know,
still
that's,
think y'all are missing my point of I'm just saying use that traffic. If that's all I'm saying.
yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. And you are right, Arba. It is a lost opportunity for me to
Thank
not
you.
take advantage of that. I totally get what you're saying.
Thank you, John.
I do too, Arba, and I think she's also pointing to like the value of it gives you social proof that it's functioning.
Yeah.
That too. But
I
I'm
mean,
just saying
so,
I'm just saying why not use it? It's.
so few people really understand the whole Web3 addresses and it's just not there yet. I I don't want my job to be like to educate the world. I want to take advantage of the world at this point. So, so I'm just a buy and hold. It's like buying a a piece of desert property right next to Las Vegas, and then 20 years later, you're right in the middle of Boomtown. That's what it is.
well, I know a guy who cashed in on that for the Disney, was it the Disney Epcot back in the 70s
Yeah, yeah. You
down
don't
in
have to build
Florida.
on the
Yeah.
land.
But
You don't have to
he
build.
had that land, and it was a small piece of land, and boy, he Disney's first offer was like 1 million, and he went, no, 2 million. And they come back 2 weeks later, okay, we'll give you two. He said, no, now it's four. And it was like they kept going the price. It was like it was a huge chunk of money. And this guy was like working at a factory that my dad knew, and like he retired. We're like, I thought you said it was a piece of junk land. Yeah, but Disney wanted it real bad.
Oh yeah. Yep.
My,
Exactly. So
my
somebody's going to
nephew,
want ID.crypto real bad at some point.
my nephew made a killing in Vegas. He bought a property in Vegas, and they came calling, and he turned a pretty penny.
Yeah. I got lucky with one. I bought a domain name called electricboats.com. And this was when my brother and one of his partners were making an electric boat. And I bought the domain to put a website up for them, and then they never wound up doing anything. I wound up getting an offer, and I sold that. I think I got either 6,000 or 6,500 for that electricboats.com because somebody wanted it real bad. So,
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff like that that's for sale. Even my company's for sale. The right price, it's for sale.
yeah, everything's up for sale. TK, go ahead.
I believe Ahmed was up first, but when they dropped the hands, and I have a question for you, John, if you could stay after the meeting for just a few minutes. So
Okay.
that's my question. So now to Ahmed.
Okay, sure. All right. Ahmed, go ahead.
Thank you, TK. Linda, first of all, I want to express how sorry I am that you have to be going through so much over this time. I am truly, truly speechless, and I've heard all the horror stories before, but to be someone close in a group you're in, it's really a heartfelt. I'm also an author and a speaker, and I've learned a lot from my coach. And if I may, offer you a couple of things, if that's okay, to include in your book, even though it's already been published, but create a revised second edition and put the following in it. Something my coach and my publisher, and he's the same guy actually, Raymond Aaron, suggested to do. In order for your book to see a lot of publicity and marketing and visibility out there, include a section called acknowledgement. I went through your whole book, by the way, I bought it as well, to make sure if it does or does not. I don't think I've seen it. I've seen you list a lot of biographies, sources, etc., and the full story and the checklist. That's extremely wonderful. Add this section to it. Now, anything and anyone, I propose that, for example, Jimmy Kimmel has been a supporter of this as one example. and he has put a fundraiser, etc., for the firefighters and so on. But anyone that you could think of it, even if you don't know them, even if you never had an interaction with them, like Oprah, like like even the governor, anybody, and any person, put some kind of a sort of acknowledgement statement. In my book, for example, The Real Estate 1% Rule, Create Passive Income, and The Wealthy Desire, I put Jimmy Kimmel there. I put Stephen Colbert. I put Obama, or President Obama. So include anyone and everyone you want,
Even if you didn't speak with them or
even if you don't speak with them. And what you do is you create a highlight of that page of the company and you send it to them for free. And you mark the page where their name is mentioned in your book.
that's the idea. Good idea. There is
Okay.
an acknowledgement section, but it doesn't include
No, but I mean, yeah, but I didn't see it
your
stand out
recommendations.
like in the matter of which I'm proposing. So that's why I'm kind of
I have it.
go back and put everybody and every personality, every media, everyone, whether you know them or not. And then when you get a hard copy, paper copy, and or an email copy, and just send it to them and highlight the section where their name is mentioned in that book. That gives them notoriety. It gives them an ego boost, etc., and it promotes the hell out of your book at the same time. Okay, so that would be my biggest promo suggestion for your book, and I think that should get you a huge amount of leverage. Uh, I know it has with mine, even though I don't have a website for mine, which leads me to John. Everything you've done with,
30 minutes.
huh?
He can create that in 30 minutes.
I know, and this is okay, guys, on this platform. I don't like creating websites. I do not like working with Kartra, and I don't like to deal any of this mumbo jumbo techno crap. But I love what is happening. I don't mind it if it's simpler and I'm one of those people. If I have to sit down, watch the video, and learn and keep going, which I have been trying to, it's been taking me forever. So something like this, I even wrote in the comments. I love to have something like this because I have enough products to push through. Even when I bought certain products from you, John, to try to promote them to other people, I'm taking so much time in the back room to try to develop the link for people to go to so that everything works well, that I don't like it. And so this is my tool. I could go without any of the other tools, just this one. And then, and
you
honestly,
still you still do need Kartra for certain things, but not for all the web development part. That's the part that's really time consuming.
I've been paying for Kotlin for over 3 years, almost four. I have yet to use it once.
Yeah, you just need a little help, but there's certain things that Kartra is like integral for your business to
It
build
is.
mailing lists and do
I don't
follow-up.
disagree. I'm not disagreeing. I see the capabilities.
But it just makes it
But
so much easier to not have to build the pages with it.
thank you.
Yeah,
And so I will beg for your help in
yeah.
that department or anyone who wants to help me for
I'll be
that.
the first to stand right up and say I will probably never build another page in Kartra again.
Again, using this program will be ideal
Yeah.
because honestly, I don't like, I mean, I developed some websites through the real estate you know, platform with REI Black Book out of St. Louis. And I was very fortunate, and they had them where it's automatically populated what I want them to do. But as a real estate investor, that was easy for me. I developed a couple of things like the Upside of Down Syndrome, charity.com type of thing. Those things were great, and it was easy for me to do. But this was, for some reason, I'm struggling, and I'm not a WordPress. I am not any HTML I mean, I know what it's for, but I don't write them. I don't never been one to be techno savvy in computer language.
Yeah,
That's
I
why I
can't.
was a
I've
geologist and geophysicist and worked in environmental work for all my. By the way, Linda, while we add the subject, if you need anything about hazardous waste, I used to work in hazardous waste at EPA for over 20 years. So I could be more than happy to give you any guidance on environmental issues as well, because I have 35, actually almost 40 years worth of experience in that. Now you are an expert in based on what you learned from toxic and water consumption and disposal, etc. But that's a different subject. So,
Yeah, I'm an
why
expert. I really wish I had.
you know what? I'm available for your service anytime you want.
And
Just
it
reach.
looks
Ahmed,
like you've got something on your name that
I'm at
says Hawaii.
360.
Are you in Hawaii?
No, I'm in Ohio. I'm
hey, Ahmed,
I'm at
I
You just
360.
will,
love Hawaii.
I will volunteer help you create your website. This is Manuel.
Hi,
I'm
Manuel.
from, I'm also from Ohio,
Oh, you are okay. I'm
Dayton.
from LeBron James' hometown.
Okay.
So, so
That's awesome.
I am, and again, my connection is ahmed360.com. I can be reached by phone, by text, by through that website.
Yeah,
So
I can't wait to show you guys and actually give you guys access to the Sorcerer product. It really is going to change everything for everybody. It's
and yes, I could see based on what you did with Linda's website. I mean, this is the answer and the things I'm looking for at this point in time because I, you and I talked what almost 4 months, 5 months ago, and I'm still I'm still not quite there. And I did the development for the following the Contra program tutorials, and I'm slowly grinding through it. And it's like, oh my God, I'd rather create programs, and that's what I'm good at, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
invest in properties and things of that nature. Hell, I could do groundwater problem resolutions and solutions and remediation before I could do this.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is me.
Almost everybody needs Kartra or something like it for their back end, but it
And that's
doesn't necessarily mean you need to become an expert in it. It doesn't really even mean that you need to learn how to use it. You need to have somebody that sets it up for you. And the whole idea of Kartra is the automation behind it. So
and
it's
there we go.
yeah,
Thank you, Manuel.
your time is best spent in selling, not playing in Kartra.
I appreciate the hearing that as much because that's what I
So
love doing. I like to put an audience together. When I shared the stage with Jack Canfield or Bob Proctor, that's what I was good at.
yeah, yeah,
Speak to crowds and be able to convert and do the things, even though I'm physically a bit more challenged now than what I was 4 or 5 years ago. But I'm
yeah,
getting back to where I'm becoming for mobile,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
you
Well,
so that said,
there's plenty of people, including the AI agents, that will do all this work for you that you shouldn't be doing and don't know
thank you.
how to do and don't want to do.
Which
Uh,
leads me to my next question to you. Actually, thank you for that segue.
sure.
Regarding AI agents, is there a, do you need the computer to be specifically designed? Like, I wanted to buy a laptop right now,
It
and
doesn't
I'm looking at
matter.
all those. I'm looking at Ultra 8s, Ultra, I mean, 7 versus 9, 14-inch, AI ready. The NPU is high, 47 to 60, whatever. I'm becoming too
Yeah.
much information
You don't
that
need
is
any of that. All you need is a web browser.
a web browser. Okay,
Yeah.
so any of
Any
those computers will do. All right.
any computer will do. You could even do it off your phone if you wanted to.
Okay.
All the power sits on the server. It's not on your side.
Okay.
So
Uh,
the computer is pretty much irrelevant. You could use anything.
okay. And let's see. Well, in that case, I covered all my things.
All right.
Emmanuel, thank you. I appreciate if you put some information, I could write it down about your contacts and Linda as well. And I'll reach out to you about any service you need help with. And, I'm volunteering my time for you as you need to.
Yeah, if any of you guys want to share your contact information with the rest of the group, I'm always open. You can do that in the chat, on any of our calls. That's no problem.
Thank you.
So, absolutely. All right. Well, anything else before we wrap up for today?
And remember, you're going to talk to me afterwards for
Yeah,
just a
what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this so it stops our recording and then just hop back in.
Hold on, I'm putting my contact info.
John, one quick question. So the everything that you're talking about, like the so your new product, the AI agentic
Uh-huh.
website creator and such, it can also help with Kartra because that's just a little side note. That's what Woody can
Yeah.
never get it going, and he can never find anybody to help him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
know.
it won't log in and like do the activities in Kartra, but what it'll do, it'll create you all the content. Like
Mm,
one of the biggest things in Kartra is creating your ongoing sequences because you have to write them. But what I do is I'll have the agentic, I'll say, here's the product that we're selling, here's the opt-in that they're getting. What I need is I need a follow-up sequence when they opt in, getting them to consume the webinar. Once they go through the webinar, I need a sequence to get them to buy. Once they hit the shopping cart and they abandon the cart, I need a follow-up sequence for a cart abandon. And it writes all of those. It'll write you like, 10 different emails to follow up and give you the timeline of when they should be sent. And then you're literally just pasting them into Kartra.
mm,
So
mm,
it doesn't do the pasting into Kartra for you, but it will create all the content. And that's the biggest part of the whole thing.
mm.
And I know she had to hop off, but I've got Kimberly now that works for me. She's kind of taken over Connie's spot, and she's been with me a very long time. Connie actually trained her in 2010. So
Wow.
she's kind of been on the sidelines, but I'm training her in Kartra. For any of you that need Kartra work, she'll be able to do that for you. So
Oh, darn
if
it.
if
Okay, that's great.
if that's a case, if you need Kartra work, let me know and I can set
Yeah,
that up for you now.
Kimberly.
I
Mm.
always wanted to offer it. I just didn't want to do it myself. So
Right. Nobody wants to do it.
now that I've got somebody
Really.
that actually wants to do it, I don't mind. I
It's,
don't mind
it's
doing it.
funny you say that, John. I love playing in cartridge. It's the one thing I love doing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, but it was your original, your original class that I learned how I got good at it, and now like it's my favorite thing to play with,
Yeah. It,
more than
it's
websites.
it like at first glance, it's not intuitive, but I think the way I teach it, I make it more intuitive. I think anyway.
And Tim, I wanted to personally apologize about missing my appointment with you publicly, so that we're clear square on that. Then it was not intended to intentionally miss you.
I accept your apology, and I'll give you another chance.
If you miss the next one, we'll hang you in public display and tar and feather you.
No, no, I because of I've had people who used to take up my schedule. My company, I actually put in a you cancel the appointment on me twice, we disconnect you. And that's what happened. He got two times and he did not know that. And then my system's automated to say sorry. But he's a good guy. I know I'm not mad at him. It did it. And I accept your apology and I'll give you another chance.
Well, Tim, you're nicer than me. I let people that miss their appointments twice, and then I go in there and I'm like, and they try to do it a third time, and I'm like, you have missed two appointments already. Don't even attempt to do a third. Don't call me, lose my number.
Well, yeah, in mine
There's
it's called the Kyle Wilson rule. If some of you know who Kyle Wilson is, he used to run Jim Rohn's place. Kyle Wilson did it to me after asking to be on my podcast.
Yeah.
And I became the Kyle Wilson rule in my
I have a better idea for you guys.
yeah, I'm all ears.
This one works really, really good. What you do is you say your first appointment is a free consult, and then it goes to paid consultation after that. So if they miss the first one, it's just like, well, you just missed your freebie. That's okay, no problem. let's schedule you in. Let's
I
get
don't
you
know.
an
Right
appointment.
there, Arbor, we can make up for it right there. What do you think?
That's the way to do it.
Probably not, because usually the ones that miss out on appointments are not ones that would pay anyway.
But
Yeah.
but it keeps the second follow-up from happening.
That's true. I like that.
Because if the
And
first one
you don't
wasn't going
have
to
to
go,
be the, that's a great idea, John, because then you don't have to be the, like, you're out, two strikes, you're out, because people will start begging. But it's like a hard, it's like it makes it clear,
Yeah.
without you having to say anything. That's great.
yeah, no, it's a very friendly, nice way to turn someone into a paid customer instead of a prospect.
And
It's
actually, what I've had to start doing is, because I get a lot of requests to meet, but I'm realizing what's generating that is because I do a lot of training, which is my lead magnet.
Mhm.
So now what I've started doing is, when people request to meet with me, I say I'm available 30 minutes before or after any of my events. Here's a list of my events. Let me know which one you will be attending. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's a neat angle, Arbor. I like that.
that's been working.
yeah, I did this back in like 2010. What used to happen was I would do my weekly call, right? And no one would ask questions. And then we'd end the call, and all of a sudden they're calling me and they're texting me, "Hey, can we jump on a call?"
Right,
And I'm like, "We were just on that call. I do this like for an hour a week, and
right.
you were there. You didn't take advantage of it." And I didn't really want to do private calls. I did not want that. I wanted my time to be constrained to that 1 hour a week, and then I'm off to the races. So what I did was since I didn't want to do the calls, the individual calls, I said I'm going to offer the calls on a paid basis, and it's $1,000 an hour. And I really thought I would be clean and clear and out. I couldn't believe people paid it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I
Are
started
those the
getting,
ones that ask you about the weather too?
they were exactly that. They'd pay $1,000 an hour. I'd get on the call and they'd spend 15 minutes wanting to know about the weather. I'm like, seriously? You wanted $1,000 weatherman? I'm like, it blew my mind.
If you send John a text, he'll send you a picture of what it's like because he does it to me every time. Because I'm like, I'm seriously head into something, and it's like, well, I'm on the boat. See what I'm catching right now? Yeah. He does it every time.
Poor mentor. Oh,
But that was absolutely crazy that people give them the opportunity to pay for your time. It'll blow your mind what
Well,
what
the
will
most
happen.
interesting one for me was that I did a 1 year program where you pay a monthly, you pay a monthly fee. Similar like what you're doing, and they can come into the community. And this one woman never showed up, right? And so her card was declined. And so I was like, okay, because she never shows up anyway. I'm not chasing her down for her declined card. Do you know she contacted me and she said, "Oh, I noticed my payment didn't go through and I want to give you my new card number." And I said, "But you have never showed up." And she's like, "Oh, but I can watch the recordings. I'll
Yeah.
whatever." She said, "Whatever." And so I checked the stats, like you can know who actually logs into the recordings. She never logged into the recordings, never showed up, but just wanted to, be a part of it. And so,
Hey, if she has more money to throw around, you can refer to me. I'll take some of it. Just saying.
no, it's the mentality. Some people, they just feel that I'm a part of, I want to, and
I
we'll let
have
them.
people I have people that pay for this call that have been paying for this call since 2010. And they might show up once a year, once every other year. When they have a problem, I'm here for them and they hop in and it's cheap insurance to keep me at their
But don't
disposal.
they have quantum? Do they at least have a product? Do they have quantum?
Most of the ones from the legacy, they never upgraded to quantum. They're
So
still
they just
just in
all
the
they
weekly
have they're
call,
paying for the call.
just paying for the call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never, ever, ever get in the way of someone that wants to pay you.
Right. Yeah, I
Don't
do.
don't
I
hold them
love Jane's laugh
accountable
on
for
that.
actually using you. Let them pay you if they want to pay you.
Yeah.
It's cruel to not let them do that.
You're stealing away the privilege of them helping you and support you in life.
Yeah. It's really a mindset thing though. They don't want to
Yeah.
give
I
up.
That was
They're
actually a hard one for me for a while because I had a bunch of people in the group and a lot of them weren't doing anything and I took it personally. I took it as I'm a failure. And then I realized the lesson from my mother. My mom belonged to an association called TOPS. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's Take Off Pounds Sensibly. It's a weight loss group. And she belonged to that ever since I can remember, since I was a little kid. She always went to the weekly meetings and she was part of that world. Well, she never lost any weight. In fact, she just put a little bit on every year. And all of her friends, all the people in that group, they'd go to the meeting and then they'd go out to dinner and pork out. And I'm like, and they paid. They paid to be in the group, but that wasn't for the point of what the group was for. It was they were there for the community. They were there to support the community, to support the ones that were, doing good and all that. But once I realized that, I'm like, okay, there are people that just want to be along for the ride and, don't
yeah.
penalize them. I can't count the amount of money that my mom spent on that group over her lifetime and never got the benefit of what the group was made for. But she got enjoyment. That made her happy.
Yep.
So,
I'm collaborating with a coach and well, not finally, but we had launched a community and we got our first member. And so I'm excited because it was so much I had to convince the coach that I'm working with because she wanted to say, oh, in our landing page and in our documentation, she wanted to say within 90 days you'll receive this and within 12 weeks you'll obtain this. And I'll say, no, no. We're not saying that. We're just saying this is open. And she says, oh, but they should expect results. And I says, no, because if you say that they're going to get results in a defined time frame, then they'll stop paying. And I
yeah,
said, I learned that. And so, yeah, we had our first one. And sure enough, I explained to her, I said, look, if you don't do the homework, don't worry about it. Keep coming. We'll keep working with you. We'll work at your pace. We're not going to set a time frame that you have to get something done, but we are expecting for them to get something done. But I learned you got to let people, they want to be a part of a community and give
yeah,
them this open time frame.
yeah. That was I struggled with that one for many years
I
until
did
I
too.
finally got a grip on it.
Right. Yeah.
And
And
now I
I've
don't.
joined enough that have no time frame. So
Yeah, yeah. All right, Aaron, go ahead. We've been waiting for you here.
Oh, that's fine. I enjoy these calls. And I didn't do my homework.
Uh-oh.
I've had some things, but kind of what my problem that I'm running into is I kind of suck at AI prompts. And I'm realizing like I'm having these frustrating conversations and it's like, okay, my communication obviously isn't clear. So I'm just wondering if I know you're like a genius at this. Do you have guidelines for like a general structure to think about every time you're trying to convey something?
Well, the
Or is it
one
just different?
it's different. What I found, it's very different with the agentic AI versus just like Chat GPT. If you're talking about Chat GPT, that's a whole different world. It's a general purpose. It's going to be a lot more frustrating.
Yeah. I
But
don't use that one, but I use what is it, Perplexity, because you've
Perplexity,
recommended that.
yeah. Perplexity is a little better, I think, than Chat GPT, but it's still a general purpose.
Well, we
Uh,
need your agentic.
it's
I think that's
coming.
the consensus.
Yeah, it's believe me, if I could give it to you right now, I would, and it's close. I think next week I'll probably have it for you. And I know
So
I've said that.
knowing I'm working with Perplexity for now,
Yeah,
what
knowing
is
that. So with Perplexity, what you might try and do is focus on the outcome. Like what is it ultimately that you want? And ask it, how do I get this? What can you do to help me? And go back and forth with it. The prompt is more about communication. So if you're just doing like a one-sided thing and you're letting it do, everything and figure it all out, that might be part of the problem. But go back, ask it questions to help you understand how to communicate with it. That's that's where I learned a lot of the stuff. That's where, and I don't really have a guideline for it because I kind of just learned it as I went. I just, like I always do, I just dive right in the fire and somehow I come out fire retardant. I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, it was your question for me was like how many Patagonias are out there? And I've had prior conversations about like the values, morals, and like where they put them, like their money where their mouth is. And it
Yeah,
keeps sending me companies that I'm like, I know they fund really bad things. Like, I don't want to support that company. Why are
yeah,
you still sending me them? So it's like, I think it's still pulling for from our same conversation in this thread, and it seems like to glitch, and it like
yeah. That they do
so
that. They do that a lot. But what you might do is, if Patagonia is a company you particularly like, ask it, ask it what are the attributes that make it such. And then once it does that initial work, it's got its own context that it's created. And then tell it, are there other companies that match this criteria?
yeah, I thought that's what I did.
Yeah.
Um,
And you might have done it perfectly and it might have just fought you. And
yeah.
in some cases, I've found this, and I don't know how to even think about this, but I have had chats open with different AIs and we just don't get along. It's weird. It is absolutely bizarre. And I've gotten really frustrated and I've said, what am I doing wrong? Like, I ask you one thing and you do the opposite. What am I not communicating? How do you need to hear this from me? And I boxed it into a corner and you know what it said? It said, I don't think we're a good match. You need to
I've
find
noticed that
another.
with some of them.
Yeah, you need to find another agent. I mean, they have attitude. It's
Yeah.
weird. It is really weird. But when that's the case, just say, all right, you're fired. You're done. Just,
I find that I like Copilot for like my creativity and bouncing ideas off of it.
yeah.
Um, I've tried to like use AI to scour the internet to find the best price for just a plane ticket
Yeah.
on these date ranges, and I'm like, tell me the actual price, and they won't give me the price, and I'm just like,
Yeah, that's called deep research. And the GPTs, like the general purpose technologies, I think, I actually think they have guardrails around them to not go into deep research because of the amount it would cost them. Like the thing with the agentic is run by tokens. So you basically pay for what you use. You pay a small amount to get access to the platform, but then you're basically using tokens to do the actual work. And it has no rails. It will go as deep as you want to go. I mean, it'll go deep, crazy deep if you want it to. I've had to actually hit the stop button because you can watch the agents work. And they're, yeah, I mean, they're going deep down rabbit holes. And there's been cases where I'm like, holy shit, no, 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 stop. I don't want to be paying for this. But that it's a very, very different world. To give you an idea, when I created the smash and grab campaign, the amount of tokens that I used to do that, it was about $500 worth. But when I look at the but the work, the body of work that it put out, it's 6 months worth of my effort for $500. That is a complete total bargain. When I redesigned my Internet Dominator site, I was really, really picky. I went back and forth with the thing all day, saying, no, no, I don't like that. That doesn't look like an ad agency did it. I want this thing done by a top art director. And it finally really got, a really, really good look to it. And it wound up, I think it was probably about $100 worth of tokens to spend that whole day with it and do that. But the amount of work, like there's nowhere anywhere where I could hire a designer that was that quality for $100 and get that much work out of them. So it's like it might sound like a lot if you're not making any money, these numbers might go, "Oh my God, I can't afford that." But if you're in a production environment and you're actually doing this and you need it done, it's like you can't not afford that. Like you can't afford not to do that because you need it done and you're not going to be able to get it cheaper, with that
Yeah.
quality. So it's kind of a thing of you got to look at it for what it really is as far as cost.
When it's ready.
When it's ready, I'm trying. Believe me, I am trying. It's that good. I really want it
They
out.
call it coming soon.
It's
Yeah.
coming soon. I should put up an order page to see who buys it. I'm totally sold on this one. I am not worried about selling this one at all. It's like anybody that doesn't want this, good luck.
Mhm. John, speaking of that, Aaron, are you complete? I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Just off of that building, if when I use your new agentic service to build my website, can you host it anywhere? Like it's good to go on
Yeah,
anywhere?
HTML files will go on any web server. So yeah, it doesn't matter where you host it.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure because it's so wonderful. It sounds I'm so excited I could burst. I'm
Yeah.
very excited. Thank you.
You can literally even host it inside your current WordPress hosting.
Does
Like
it
that.
have to be but it doesn't have to be WordPress, right?
No, no, like that's what I showed you guys. Inside Linda's WordPress website, I created a folder. I uploaded those HTML files into that folder, and that folder is now a live website that she can point her domain right to. She doesn't need another hosting account for that website.
Okay. Well,
It's it's phenomenal.
amazing.
It's a whole
It's
new
amazing.
world.
I'm so thankful for your brain because it's always 20, 100 steps ahead, and then you take care of us. We're always ahead of the game. All right, thank you. Because I want to do it, and I was thinking, oh, brother, I hope it works with everything. So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. I would love to give you guys a complete 100% brain dump, but you'd probably explode.
create the brain dump video and then just attach it to our next email, and have something. Put when you do the notes, the meeting notes.
Yeah,
The
just
file would be too large.
yeah, just download this and you're set. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for today. I think we got everything covered. But yeah, we'll be on regular time next week, and we'll see you guys then.
And you want me to just log back in?
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
I'm gonna
John.
close this one.
Thank you,
Thanks,
All right,
John.
John.
bye
All
bye.
ashore that's going
Thank you,
ashore.
John.
Yep, yep. John, after TK, get busy on getting the agentics up.
Already on it.
Love you. Bye.